Well, that was certainly an interesting type of episode. Hello everybody, today we're going to start a new episode of Kamen Rider Gotchard. This time we're looking at episode 30. So we start off with Houtaro being excited about a new semester, as well as a new school year, as Houtaro is officially a third year, alongside Rinne and Kajiki. And all pretty much excited they're all in the same class. As the whole class settled down, Minato enters by announcing that they have a new transfer student. So we have another one of those tropes for high school that we see in a lot of TV shows like for Japan and all that. So yeah, we have the transfer student incident, and we see the new person being Tsukuno Seina, who I thought looked familiar, so I looked up the cat, and interestingly, she's played by the actress named Kano Matsuzawa, I didn't pronounce that correctly, who interestingly was Kei from Kamen Rider 5's 20th anniversary Paradise Regained. So that's why she looked kind of familiar to me. As Houtaro seems to recognize her, as well as Seina, as she said that they grew up together as childhood friends. And so yeah, that's another trope we're gonna have to talk about right now. As you say that it's fate, and it seems to shock everybody in class, especially Kajiki and Rinne. Specifically Rinne seems to be the focus of this episode. After the opening, we see Kajiki and Houtaro talk about fate. Pretty cool that Kajiki brings up Hijiri from like so many episodes ago, and just happy about his own feeling about the feeling of love, and asks Houtaro if he's also experienced being in love, and that she should actually, and that he wants him to feel happy as well. So it's a pretty nice moment between Kajiki and Houtaro that we haven't had much throughout the whole show, and I kind of want them to have more interaction. Reminded that, these two are actually friends. We see Rinne come in to talk to them, but Seina comes up first to both of the boys, and actually had that fun interaction with both of them, and mostly talking about romance. They want to focus on it, and surprisingly again we're focusing on Rinne feeling weird about the whole situation. So yeah, I guess we know what the two episodes are setting up, especially with how they seem to be too much on the camera work and all that. So yeah, it definitely seems to be setting up that she's definitely jealous, or the fact that Houtaro is hanging out with somebody else other than her. Come on, girl. Meanwhile, we see a trope with the little clay dolls that were with Grion, and all of them were saddened by Grion's death. And the dolls want to all avenge him, so Atropo combined them all together and agreeing with her siblings and transformed them into some sort of weird amalgam. That doesn't seem to be a face at all because it's covered underneath a cloak, but it's still not the golden body. So yeah, it's gonna be one of those type of things. It seems that they're gonna have a new type of monster again without somebody else. It's kind of disheartening to know that, because you're just getting back to last two episodes with humans actually being the reason why amalgams are born. So yeah, it's kind of disappointing we're not going to have that this week or next week. So yeah, kind of missed opportunity, especially with how they're building up Seina and Rinne. Would have been pretty interesting if both of them were amalgams or something. Meanwhile, once again, we're still in the school, as we have a nice club day, and all the clubs are announcing, which is normal because the school's about to start, so they want to recruit people. And we have a nice cameo by two people from Dawn Brothers, and I don't know who they are because I never watched Dawn Brothers, but I do know the actors being Hirofumi Suzuki and Shinosuke Takahashi, because they actually used their real names in the episode, Suzuki and Shinosuke, for their comedy act with the guy that has the spear. Seems like the same guy who had the spear in the original Dawn Brothers show, also using a type of pole, spear, javelin thing. Now they've only tried to joke around and make jokes to make people enter the comedy route. Houtaro and Rinne are together laughing at it, and Hopper 1 joins as well, but then they try to have a funny scene with them trying to hide her, which is pretty funny. That, yeah, I love Hopper 1. It's a cute little grasshopper. So yeah, they're just making jokes, and one of them is actually pretty funny about the Isekai about being hit by a truck. So yeah, they do acknowledge our favorite Lord Truck-kun in this show, and they're saying that they should just cancel that manga for being bad. And we did see Seina of getting focused on the camera in the background. Actually, seems to be getting jealous of Rinne and Houtaro being together, as Houtaro starts to cheer for one of his classmates, Mikuria, who are the drama club. As he actually comes in, and we see him stare and be pretty much desperate for a club member, as he even performs a dogaza, as he wants people to join the club that Houtaro actually thinks is concerning, as he thinks he wants to look into it. As Seina also looks on Houtaro and Rinne together, once again with the camera focusing on her. So yeah, we're having a traditional love triangle in Rider, which is not that far off from how things have been with many types of love triangle happening in a lot of tokusatsu shows. So yeah, this is pretty much bound to happen. Houtaro, Rinne, and Kajiki all visit the drama club with Mikuria there, as he explains that he was inspired by a play of Romeo and Juliet in middle school during a school festival and wanted to join drama to be an actor. But now that all the members have graduated and are left, he's pretty much the only one left in the drama club, and said that he needs at least 5 members or the club will be shut down by the school. And especially they want to perform Romeo and Juliet as well, but can't really recruit people as he have trouble. And Houtaro says he's gonna help him and say that it's a gotcha and want to help him make the play. And Mikuria is just happy that he has somebody actually being recruited, and said that he should be Romeo for the play of Romeo and Juliet, so Houtaro actually accepts. Katsuki says that it's gonna be either him or Rinne is gonna be Julian, which I mean, hey, Katsuki, good luck, man. Hey, come on, guys. We actually seen Katsuki in the Christmas episodes. Like, he can work the women's dress. He can work the women's clothes, okay? He can do it. Let our boy Katsuki be Juliet. That'll be funny. As Seina comes in to say that she will actually be Juliet, as Katsuki again wanting to be Juliet in the play instead. It's pretty funny that they actually start arguing between each other that who would be Juliet, with again the camera focusing on Rinne. So yeah, if you haven't figured out, they are putting in that Rinne is actually being in love with Houtaro. They are setting it up. And if you know the writer, the head writer being the same guy who made the SSZ Gridman and SSZ Dino Zenon, so yeah, I guess it was bound to happen. Eventually, you actually seen those two shows. We then see Minato enter the base as Kyoka and Lachesis are together, as they finally explain what Lachesis has been doing the past few episodes, as she's actually been hired an assistant for Kyoka. Minato thanks Lachesis for her help to make him go in there and save his student from the Ouroboros, with Lachesis also thanking all of them for taking down Grion. Which is a pretty nice little moment between these 3 characters. But then it gets interrupted by Cloto breaking into the building as she wants her sister to come back with her, but Lachesis actually refuses as she hasn't had much trouble with a Tropod, saying that last time she tried to kill her, so she's not coming back with them anytime soon. At pretty much Cloto turns her hatred and anger at Minato and Kyoko, saying that they're the reason why she transformed. She's changed as she decides to transform into Dread Type 3, the same thing that Grion will turn into. But Spanner comes in saying that he's gonna not have her threaten his senpai and his teacher, and pretty much his surrogate mother. And he transforms as well into Valvaron in order to fight Cloto. But he just struggles with her, which makes sense because I mean they all struggle with Type 3 and only Platinum Gotchard can defeat her. But then Cloto starts to act weird as she starts to have sparks throughout her body and starts to be in pain as Spiner realizes that he has the upper hand. And Minato's comment on the reason why is that Type Dread actually starts to damage the user. The more prolonged and more power they use, the more damage is going to be hard for them. And it seems like Cloto can't handle the power, unlike Grion. As Cloto seems to struggle both from the power and how much strain it's using on her body, as he seems to struggle against Spanner. And actually, surprisingly, after a good fight, actually loses his Spanner, which is actually surprising. Even though it's a good fight, it's actually still also showing that, yeah, only Grion can handle it, or probably a Tropod, but not Cloto, which would definitely add to some sort of character development for this character. As Spanner is trying to finish her off, but Lachesis steps in to stop him, because, you know, that is her sister, technically. She doesn't want her sister to die. And she won't move, as also Spanner seems to hesitate to shoot her as well, but Minato decided to use his alchemy to make everybody disappear. Except for Cloto, as she just stayed behind, just screams frustration about how she's pretty much weak. So yeah, something bad gonna happen to her in the future episode, and I do not want to know what happened. We meet up with the gang again in Houtaro's house, and Renge and Sabi actually come in there as well, and it is confirmed that yeah, they both of them have graduated, and are technically not in high school anymore, which at least they acknowledge that part. Also pretty weird that they didn't actually make a whole episode about these two graduating, because I feel like that was one thing missing. I mean, even Forze, the other high school show, actually put an emphasis on some of their characters graduating before the main characters. So I'm wondering why they didn't do that, but oh well. Still at least happy that these guys are still around. As Rinne explained that they got permission by Minato to have these two guys help them out, even if they're not in high school. And both agreed to help. And no one actually knows what Romeo and Juliet is about, other than Sabi knowing that it's one of the famous play by Shakespeare. And Mikuria is with them and actually explains what the story is with a pretty nice little animated cardboard way, like some sort of slideshow in a cardboard. And I actually think it's pretty cool and actually pretty cute. And I'm not going to explain much because it's still the basic story of Romeo and Juliet. If you know what it is, it's one of the most famous Shakespeare plays. You should at least know what it's about. If you guys are interested, just see the episode or just watch a recap of it. You'll pretty much find a recap easily that could take you under 5 minutes, and the video could only be under 5 minutes. Rinne, Sabi, and Kajiki are all pretty much happy and sad by how the story ends. Houtaro's mom is happy for all of them to be participating, and Houtaro being happy that Houtaro is actually Romeo, and actually assumes Rinne is gonna be Juliet, and she's trying to say she's not until Shayna arrives. Comes in to say that she is. As Houtaro's mom actually recognizes her as Shayna from when they were a little kid. And even makes a joke about the fact that they also promised that she was going to get married and be Houtaro's wife, which she seems to joke around with Houtaro saying that they were little kids and that not take it seriously, which seems to actually annoy, which makes a funny little scene with Rinne saying that she actually will be a tough opponent if they ever find somebody that they actually like with each other. We need Hopper 1 coming in to actually agree with her as he comes behind her. I'm not trying to agree, I'm more like Peter would also be scared of Rinne. As Sabi sees that Houtaro and Shayna's names, and I think the last name have 1 plus 99 would equal to 100. As he says it's a match made in heaven. Shayna starts to suggest a kissing scene practice, which seems to pretty much fluster Houtaro, and actually seems to annoy Rinne as she actually decides to leave. So yeah, once again we're having a lot more talk with Rinne being jealous. As we see a Tropo use a type of blizzard elephant thing, or mostly a blizzard mammoth, to become with the amalgam to make a cool little Arctic design, with the tusk being on the right shoulder, saying that they'll take revenge for Grion. And we see Rinne on the playground on a swing set holding onto her chest with no dialogue, but it's pretty much infer what they're talking about. As Shayna arrives asking if she's actually dating with Houtaro, because finally somebody acknowledges that they have rings on their hand. About time somebody at least pointed out. Rinne said that they're not, and would make Shayna happy, saying that she can finally pursue Houtaro without problem. As the Tropos comes in about how Rinne still hadn't changed, which to be honest, yeah, she's pretty much reverting back to how she was technically in the beginning of the show. As the Amalgam arrives as well to pretty much say that they'll avenge Grion. As Rinne tells Shayna to flee, but Tropos actually traps Shayna, saying that pretty much started to gaslight them to say that Rinne actually wanting this. And Rinne saying no, that she didn't want to, but pretty much shocked that her feelings technically hadn't really saying the opposite. As Shayna said that for her jealousy that she doesn't like that Houtaro hanging out with her, actually hates her, as the Malcolm freezes her in place. So yeah, I think she's dead. I forgot this is a superhero show. No, nobody who actually instantly freezes don't die in these type of shows. They're just frozen until they can be healed up, because not like real life where you get instant frozen, you just die. October's later say that it is Rinne's fault, as she transformed finally into Medjed to fight off the Amalgam. And she's still trying to think about what Shayna says, as well as a pretty nice way on how the editing had the flashback of Houtaro and Shayna being together, as Shayna's voice become more distorted over every dialogue she said. Anyway, how she said she hates her, which is a pretty nice little effect, and a pretty nice effective way to show that, yeah, her own jealousy. And she started to lose as Houtaro arrived and immediately turned into Platina and decided to fight them off of the Amalgam. And Houtaro also sees Shayna and briefly get distracted being attacked by the Amalgam. As they both fight off the Amalgam continuously until Rinne comes out of form, because you get knocked out of her form. She started to realize that she tried to start to blame herself, as the Tropos comes in and agreeing with her, saying that she'll avenge her father, Grion, which seemed to actually strike a nerve with Rinne, because especially with her daddy issues for earlier in the season. As Houtaro decided to protect her before getting frozen himself, because Rinne was about to be frozen by the Amalgam, but then decided to step in and take the freeze himself. And now he's just frozen in place and can't do anything. Tropos said that Rinne is weak, and that because of her weakness, everybody around her she cares about will now die. The episode ends there. Overall, it was a fine episode. We'll say that they are becoming another filler arc with Houtaro and Rinne. One thing I will say is that with this filler arc is that we're having another one of the Kamen Rider trope of the love triangle. And I'm not sure how people are going to feel about Rinne's character, because there's going to be a big thing about her seem to be jealous about Houtaro. It seems like next week's episode is going to actually confirm or deny it, like we're going to see next time. But the way that this is writing, it seems like they are going to play on the fact that Rinne is actually in love with Houtaro and feeling jealous. I will say that it's more actually not sure how the development will work with Rinne. I kind of want this to actually not be a one-sided thing, and I actually want it to continue, because I don't want it to be just this arc and then never brought up again. I actually want this to continue in the rest of the show, because if they put it for this one arc and never again, it's just a waste of time with, and a bad way to be characterized for Rinne, especially since she's the female character and now being in love with Houtaro. I just feel like will not be helpful for her character at all, unless they do something more than just this arc. And I hope they don't take out Sena at all, that she should be here. But again, they did the same head writer for Dino Zenon and Gridman, so it probably was bound to happen that this whole romance aspect was gonna be here. Took a long while, which makes sense. Those shows were like 12, 13 episodes, they're like probably almost 50, so it's gonna take a while for the development to happen. So other than that, there's not really much in this episode other than the fact that they all become third gear. Really hope that Houtaro actually finds a little episode with them together to hopefully clear the misunderstanding for him, or actually confirm that he probably does like her or not, but we'll have to wait and see. I also want to hear what people have to say, because this will be a type of probably a controversial take on how a female character is. I do know when a female character starts to be in love with the main character, it starts to underwhelm development or something like that, and I want to see if that actually happens in this show or not. Rating wise, I give this episode a 6.9 out of 10. What do you got, Dick? You like the episode or do you not? What do you think about Rinne's whole development of being jealousy and probably being in love with Houtaro? Also, what do you think about Sena and the whole love triangle thing? Leave a comment down below to talk more about Kamen Rider Gotchard. Peace.